Do you want to do a podcast? We make a darn good team. It always goes without a hitch. Let's head to Twitch and go start up the stream. Do you want to do a podcast? It's the Nerd Glasses Podcast. Let's start now. Hi everyone and welcome to the Nerd Glasses Podcast. Come?
Alright, I'll do my own bits myself.
Oh wait, no silence.
We're doing it. Get off the road. Hey everybody.
Hey Boater.
So, AI has gotten in a lot of hot water when it comes to issues of plagiarism and originality, and I figured that I would give it a fair shake. I decided tonight to ask ChatGPT to write the opening joke for this evening's show. Why did the koala fall out of the tree?
Oh no! Why did the koala fall out of the tree?
We're not going through the whole thing again, Dave. That was last week's joke. Because it was dead. Okay. Why did the koala fall out of the tree?
Why did the koala fall out
Because
of the
it was stapled to the first koala. Why did the koala fall out of the tree?
Why did
Peer pressure. Hey everyone and welcome to the Nerd Glasses Podcast. I'm Boater.
And I got that one this time.
I wrote that and then I realized, oh my gosh, we have guests on. Everyone give a warm welcome to Victoria and to John.
Veronica.
Veronica, oh my god. He finally did it!
It's a lifelong problem. Apparently I look more like a Victoria. It's okay.
If it makes you feel any better, this is now you're now Amy Gaff that we will forever reference. Where one of the first behind the counter programs, we had some of our friends on, and our Dan knows these people. He knows them by name, but you start talking on air, and he pointed at her, he just said the wrong name, and even he at the time was like, "Hup, that's not the right name."
I'm used to it. Like I said, my work nickname is Vicky because of a similar situation. So, anybody at work watching, yeah, it's Vicky.
Everyone welcome Veronica and John. Thank you so much for joining us. Oh, but it's with an H. Oh!
I didn't hear the...
Yeah, you didn't give the to it. So they, by the way, are co-organizers, co-founders, co-people that did all the work to bring you the local tabletop convention, Adirondacon, and they are here to talk this particular convention time about. And I apologize because I realized this past week when I was talking about it, I was saying not the right name of the program because this is not that show. This is the Adirondack Tabletop Day 2023.
It's ADK Tabletop Day.
Okay.
Yes,
Adirondacon's
yeah.
our 2-day show in the fall. Mm-hmm. And ADK Tabletop Day is just a 1-day, just getting everybody together, playing games, and having a good time.
Yeah, it's a very similar format, but we don't go all out and get the whole. We do it at the Charles R. Wood Theater in Glens Falls, and we don't get the full theater. We just do two of the. They have 2 large rooms, and so this is we call it like Adirondack Light.
Hey,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we will be chatting more about that on the program, but we are going to do our usual song, dance, and 2 of these. But. What do you got for us, sir?
Actually, I was going to pass that to you because this is about the time where I talk about someone who was banned on Twitch, someone that had a really bad time, did something dumb, ran afoul of some stupid thing, and a quick search didn't turn up anything. Seems like everyone's kind of behaved themselves, or at least it's gotten so commonplace that it's not even noteworthy anymore.
Way to go, Internet. This week, you really...
You either were good, or it's been so bad lately that it's not even newsworthy.
And there's nary a hair in between those two.
So we're actually, Dave, if you want to go ahead and take that away and let us know what we've got to look forward to in the next few days.
This is the time where we talk a little bit about, it is video games. However, in the future, if you guys have board games that you know or tabletop games that are coming out, please shoot them my way because I would love to talk about that stuff. But in the next 7 days, there were 3 games that I found. And these, if you remember 2 weeks ago's theme was Stop Me If You've Heard This Before.
Yeah.
This one is Stop Me If We've Talked About This Game on Air Before, because it is a couple of franchises and games that we have talked about, but are coming out in either new and more exciting ways. And there's one game that I'm really excited for that doesn't fall into that auspice, but it's nice to have a little theming. It's really dressing and all those things.
Sure, sure.
Our first game is coming out on the 17th, so today, for Windows, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4 and 5, and Xbox One and Series X. It is a very easily remembered title. A Space for the Unbound.
Ooh.
I know.
You go ahead and talk about that. I will be back
That
in
is
just a moment.
being presented, by the way, live in Nerd Vision, if you guys wouldn't mind doing spirit fingers while we... Thank you. That is... I love it, and I really appreciate your participation, because otherwise it's just me going... Oh, God. Oh, there's professionals here, and now I'm just doing this alone.
Sorry, I wasn't here to help you with the Nerd Vision thing. I realized that the overhead spotlights are on me and Dave, and so we can't see, and want to make sure that you guys are getting some light as well. So,
Yeah,
Steve,
damn it.
Oh, yeah.
Steve
the
is
guests.
working on that.
Maybe you don't want to see me. Maybe I look better in the shadow.
Well, she'll get the light. You get the kind of like side lighting. It's all dramatic and cool. Anyway, so
No
Dave,
worries.
what is this?
So as you're seeing in the trailer, you're looking at a 90s pixel art game. It's based in Indonesia. So it's not your typical, hey, it's an American town and revolvers. This game, the auspice of it caught my attention. I know it'll catch yours, and I bet the rest of the tables. Overcoming anxiety, depression, and the relationship between a boy and girl with supernatural powers. A very relatable topic that we've all gone through in our young
yeah,
ages.
yes,
obviously.
yes.
Everyone goes through the I have superpowers phase.
This game is available today on all those platforms. There is also a prologue. It's a short 15-minute. It is one of the chapters available for free on Steam for people to check it out if you're on the fence about it. But from what I saw from many people in the industry, this game received very favorable reviews in review copies, and they also didn't do that really hinky thing where they were like, you're not allowed to talk about the review copy until it comes out. Like,
Yeah.
that's when we're going to patch in the DLC. A blast from the past, and could be on your consoles today. The next game is coming out solely for the Nintendo Switch, because it is one of the many Nintendo IPs that they guard with their lives. We are, of course, talking about, coming out on the 20th, Fire Emblem Engage. I know what you're thinking to
Interesting.
yourself. It's like the 19th Fire Emblem game. I have so many of them, and I haven't finished any of them. But this one...
Is it like a re-release or something? Because like Three Houses, I feel like Three Houses wasn't last year. When was Three Houses?
However, Three Houses did have DLC last year, so you were not
okay,
wrong.
okay. I just could have been more right.
This one is a whole nother imagination of Fire Emblem. It is in the continent of Elios. It is this continent ordained over and watched over by these divine dragons. The Fell Dragon and the Divine Dragon. Very creative writing. I like it. I couldn't do any better. I won't lie. You are the main character. I'm going to mispronounce this, but Alear, A-L-E-A-R. Does that sound right? Alear. Is that how you pronounce it?
Sure.
Sure.
Perfect. All
Hey,
right.
it's your show. You can pronounce it any way you want.
Get in the comments if it's wrong.
Yeah.
But the main character is Berry Tie-Dye Fruit by the Foot Candy. It could be. And I will say, Dude Icarus in chat, you are not technically wrong, because the game, the whole premise is that the Fell Dragon is going to be awakened, and the Divine Dragon sends their only child to awaken the 12 emblem rings, which is a really good way of using 12 previous characters from other
Sneaky.
Fire Emblem franchises.
Sneaky.
So you're able to have Roy and Marth, and I'm not talking about Smash Bros, which sounds really surprising considering it's Roy and but
Interesting.
it's going to be an interesting game, a tactical RPG. You are going to have literally thousands of hours of gameplay. How you choose to play the game is going to dictate how the story is done. More baddies than you can shake a stick at, because I did try to start writing them down, and once I got to about there, I was like, well, that's too many. I'm excited for this game just because it looks like another attempt of Fire Emblem to take a very familiar formula, but put a little oregano on top of it, so it's different.
Yeah.
Our last game is truly our most, stop me if you've heard me talk about this game before, because by God, do I love it. Coming out on the 20th for PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, and the Series X. It is a game that you have seen talked about on this program and played on the weekend Wednesday and Sunday. Monster Hunter Rise returns to the next-gen consoles. And yes, Boater, I will in fact be burying myself deeply into that again to start both a new character and a new group.
Because you played it on Switch, correct?
Yes.
And now you're going to get it on your PS5.
Bango!
Notice there wasn't a question mark at the end of that sentence.
I will, I can, and by God, I'm going to play the Hunter Horn to my heart's content. For those who are not familiar with Monster Hunter Rise specifically, Komura Village comes under attack from the foretold rampage, where a calamity that had befallen the village 50 years before. So you, of course, a young member of the village, is told, hey, you're new at this, you're going to help us save this thing. Surprisingly, you do a very good job of it, or you're like some of my friends and you choose to buy the game and you play the first 2 levels and then you just kind of leave the village to die. That's up to you.
You say, what? That just, that's going to be your problem now, you toodles.
I will say I do ardently wish that there was, in a lot of these games where they're like talking about the great calamity coming, where if you stop playing the game, you reload your file and literally it's just corpses. Like, well, you missed the calamity because you weren't here. Like, hero, you seem to just fade into the distance like you were no longer existing. I'm very sad. Those are the 3 games that caught the most of my attention and I'm very excited about, but those are the 3 games that are coming out in the next 7 days. Ready your wallets.
Welcome, more like Rigor Mortis, who has subscribed for 31 months going. Our subscription can say around 100 to 250 words. It varies in its potty training skills. It is a picky eater and has trouble sleeping. It's teething with its second molars. It says no and has tantrums. It says no and has tantrums is a memoir. Anyway.
Great. It's playing Call of Duty. What a good...
That's about the maturity level. So I'll ask this to the table. What have you been playing, watching? What media have you been consuming? You know, what's...
Well, I'll go first. Yeah, I have a problem. I'm trying to get into writing, and and stuff like that. So I'm avoiding video games like the plague because once I get sucked in, I'm gone.
You have to write down how you're doing it to help us.
It's not.
Okay, unfortunately, after like, I started playing with my son the Star Wars Saga, Lego Star Wars Saga.
I started that this week too.
Okay, and of course my son, we got through the whole saga, and he kind of lost interest. As I am now feverishly up till 3 a.m. Okay, last night I just got 100% in Dagobah. As I'm going through unlocking every freaking little
every
thing,
brick, every mission.
I've gotten half the sectors done, and I'm like, and then I got to go back through the stories and get all 100% on all those, and I'm like, why? Why? I did the same thing when I saw them playing Power Wash Simulator, and I'm like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Who would want to wash? And then I'm up to 3 a.m. power washing, and of course I can't get 100% on the game because there's a glitch in the Xbox. Every time I try to change my gloves to get that stupid fashionista achievement, it crashes the game. So I'm like, I'm one achievement short of 100%.
Wiping your hands of it.
And I'm like, I come back every now and then. I'm like, can I change my
Did they
gloves?
Did they fix it?
No. So yeah, Skywalker Saga, Legos. I am just like, I don't know what's going on.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I also, like I said, Saturday I started playing Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga. We start off at like episode 1. We're gonna work our way through, but of course it's like we could do the story mission, or we could wander around to Otogunga for an hour and a half.
Yep.
And see what we can. Oh, we need an astromech for that. All right, we'll come back and free play and whatever. So we have gotten through episode 1.
Collecting them kyber bricks.
After about maybe 6 hours of gameplay. So we'll get there. I also I watch more Bad Batch, which is going well. Not much to say on that yet. Just watching that as it's coming together. I will say the finale for Willow came out last week for Willow season 1, and so good. Very, very good. I really enjoyed how its finale brought things together, how it worked the characters through. It paid off a lot of storylines really well and kept you guessing on stuff right up until the last moment. I don't want to spoil things because I know that there's some people in chat who haven't gotten through it all yet but are in it. So this person has watched like 10 minutes?
Maybe.
5?
I only have one very minor. I loved Willow.
Uh-huh.
I have one minor criticism. I was not a huge fan of how they kind of made the conversation a little more like relevant to today. You know, the words are escaping me right now.
Do you mean like the kind of like the fast quips and stuff like that?
I don't want to say anachronistic, but you know what I mean. It kind of had a modern parlance.
Okay.
In some parts, and you know,
there were a
like
few
he was
parts
wearing
that
a
were
jean jacket at one point, which again, this is such a minor thing.
Well,
I'm like,
yeah, there was a I know what you're talking about with the jean jacket thing, and I'm sitting here like that is really cool costume design. Like it landed for me. There was a few parts where I agree. There was some very Gen Z kind of like vocab used in a couple points.
I will
that was
say,
like that's interesting. I'm along for the ride.
I'm an
still,
old dude.
But yeah. No, that's fair.
I'm 51, and I'm like, Willow was my high fantasy. Like I loved it, and it was you know, and I wasn't disappointed by the show at all. I'm just like I said, that's such a minor quip. I hesitate to say it, but we got to get controversy going on the show, right?
It was mostly in like the first couple episodes too that like, you know, updated vocab was really a thing. So like it's one of the things that's like an earlier hurdle to get past. If you get past that, then you're going to enjoy the season so far.
Fantastic. Don't get me wrong, fantastic show. I would watch it again.
Yeah, and as it's going like right at the end, we're like, oh, there's more seasons planned, right? I'm like, I know there's at least one more planned, and then you know there's the whole book motif has been playing out. The book closes and is put on the shelf alongside Volume 2 and Volume 3. So it's like, all right, now we know your roadmap.
Let me ask you this one. Did it have any moment in it that emulated the feeling a lot of us had during Book of Boba Fett, where the speeder bike gangs got on the very clearly bad CG speeder bikes, and we're just clearly going like the director keeps telling me I'm turning left and I'm going to turn left here, and like my immersion, thank you.
My immersion wasn't broken by anything like that.
We had
there was we
had like a good 45-minute nerd rage thing where both him and I were like, and then you ruined it.
there was a lot of there was a good mix of stuff that like looked like it was probably shot in volume, like Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian, but also stuff that was shot on location, like Andor. You know, as long as we're going through the Disney Plus au revoir.
Andor was so good.
I didn't feel like that immersion was broken. And more like Rick and Mortis in chat points out that when Willow came out in '87, I think, when the movie originally came out, it was probably a little more modern in some of its speech and such than a lot of high fantasy of the time. So yeah, we can kind of say that that's kind of keeping that going.
Veronica, a word in edgewise, please. I feel like we.
You guys just go. We're gonna.
Anyway, so Willow, we enjoyed it. You know, this side of the table has a lot of that going on. The last thing I'll mention is that I started rereading "Long Way to a Small Angry Planet" by Becky Chambers, and I'm enjoying it. But I knew I would because I was just like, I want to reread something.
Please.
I did finish "Under Fortunate Stars," which I talked about last week. Stuck the landing, which is always a hard thing to do, especially when you're talking about time travel fiction. It stuck the landing really well, so
for the sake of argument and discussion and things like that, he is rereading books that he has reread. I have finished.
Dave, how are you coming on reading my book?
Very well. We certainly.
Did you get to chapter 2 yet?
Anyway, so
what have you been watching, reading, playing?
I would love to hear from Veronica.
Okay.
They have been sitting so very nicely.
See, I'm on a different, like, I have so much to catch up on Disney Plus. I've been doing Netflix. Kaleidoscope was one I really enjoyed.
I didn't ask for the
with was it Giancarlo Esposito? It was a heist, but the fun thing is they did it. Allegedly, everybody who watches it in a different order. Like they took every episode and like I think they're colored. Like
Okay.
I think I started. I can't remember what color I was on, but like I think I started 7 days before the heist, and they did. It was just. I enjoy. I like. It was kind of like Ocean's 11-y a little bit.
Yeah.
What show is this again?
Kaleidoscope.
Interesting.
And I like that was one of my favorites of the past week or two.
I love that, and I love that Netflix. So they did the what was it, the Babadook, where you were able to kind of influence where the story went,
Like an interactive one,
yeah.
I think. Yeah.
And I love that Netflix does that, and that sounds. Because that's essentially the Clue thing, where everybody watches it and they're like, yeah, when this scene happened, like, well, I haven't seen that. What? I saw it like second episode. No, you didn't. Like,
yeah, like non-linear storytelling, it sounds like. And I wonder, oh God, I want to watch it and just, and then watch it again and see how it changes by watching it in a different order. Like, because
cool as hell.
I really appreciate books and movies and such that tell non-linear stories. Like Witcher season 1 jumped around in time all over the place, and so like I wonder how it would really impact.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that was the thing they were talking about was how you experience, like how you feel about different characters, like because you don't know, like you find out their origin stories and everything, but where you start bonding with these characters is different, and I thought it was great. I mean. When
That's
Netflix
so
did that,
cool.
the Kimmy Schmidt one, where you could like choose your own adventure. I mean, I thought that was cool, but I mean, it just randomized it, and
And I can see that like really impacting, like you said, how you get to know a character. Because if there's an episode where they're really sympathetic and one where they're just an outright d-bag, if you start on this one. It's like, oh, I don't like this character. Sure, they did a good thing, but I don't like this character. Whereas the other way around, it's, oh, I love this character. Oh no, my baby.
And that's the thing. I was telling one of our game we have an RPG night, and I was telling the gaming group a little bit about it last time, and I'm just so curious to talk to people because I'm like, what order did you watch it in?
It's such a cool way to get the conversation going about it.
The heist itself for me was like the second to last episode, or it was either second to last or last episode, and I'm like, oh wow, because I kept like, what happened? What happened? And
theoretically, there's people that like would start with the heist and then it would just work its way backward.
Yeah. So I was curious to see how other people watched it. So but I really enjoyed that. And on the gaming front, I've been trying to get back into Elder Scroll, the online Skyrim Online or Elder Scrolls.
Elder Scrolls Online is the.
But I somehow found this. I have the Game Pass, and I somehow found Medieval Dynasty.
Ooh.
It's just this it's got like funky little music, and like you build your little your establishment, you get your wife, and you start but you're building your own little dynasty, and allegedly if you keep going, your son will take over, and you'll be playing different generations. But I don't know, it's just some rinky-dink little Xbox game that I'm like, why am I playing this? I don't know. But
that sounds cool as hell.
But it's cute.
You're talking to someone that has logged like 500 hours on American Truck Simulator. I'm not judging what games anyone, Power Wash Sim, whatever.
I choose to play Death Stranding to an immense amount.
Yeah, no judgment here for whatever games you decide to play and sink your time into.
Yeah, no, my husband and I sometimes we play together, and we tried once again. I tried to, I think, like I said, Elder Scrolls Online, and we can't sync up, and I will do what John does, and I will just sit there and try to get the fishing achievements and So I had like 2 games going for a while, and I just got tired. I'm like, I can't do it anymore.
Back in my WoW days, that's I never raided, I never did dungeons. I just went around trying to get all the achievements I possibly could, even the most ridiculous ones, just to get that silly title.
But like
that I
the
could...
bigger the game, the more different things someone can get out of it. Like you might get the most out of a game by just fishing in it the whole time.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, it was more, you know, he kind of, like, I used to play, John and I used to play WoW. We're brothers. If anybody didn't know this, John's my brother.
Yeah,
and like, we had our own little, like, I don't even know. What was it technically called? Co-op or little guild?
Yeah.
Like, they were, like, 3 or 4 of us.
Exactly.
It was the family guild. And he started doing all these stupid achievements, and then I started doing all that. I'm like, and so now in games, I tend to try to go for achievements just because I kind of, back in the WoW days, that's kind of what we did. Like, gotta get those fish.
It's like, I always feel weird when I join a server of people playing Minecraft, because they're working on these huge, like, public works systems and this big architecture and going into, you know, ender dragons and the nether and stuff like that, and I'm just like, dig hole, build tower.
Wow, you get way further than I do.
Dig more hole.
Yeah, my wife will not play Minecraft with me because my whole thing is like, I get into the game, I'm like, a whole world for me to explore. Dig 3 holes down, stand in hole, defend hole.
No, dig 16 by 16 organized mine shaft down to the bedrock.
I am
then
not,
over and do it again.
Yeah,
I am not someone who makes these like beautiful sculptures, but I have logged hundreds and hundreds of hours on Minecraft, and I make roads with rail, and in survival too, which makes it go even longer. I find I put a wall around it, and I say it's part of my kingdom. No one will ever see these things but me, because it's not.
I've seen a few.
Well, yeah, I mean, other than a rare few people. I do it for me. It's my zen.
I was in one where someone had like an elevated railway going around everywhere, and I was like, I'm turning that into an aqueduct and like put a second layer underneath the rail just so I could be in a boat going wee.
I always describe Minecraft as it's basically digital Legos is what it is. You know,
Absolutely.
More than most, it is a sandbox game, and the thing with the sandbox is you make your own fun in it. So going back to kind of how we got there is however you get fun out of the game.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but he's very organized. He has all the animals and pens. He has giant
every
mansions.
color sheep. You know, I dyed all the sheep, so I had my magenta pen and my cyan.
I do that too, because then I dye the clay and I just make murals, pixel art murals on the side of my Fortress of Doom.
You would hate having me in one of your servers because I am absolutely somebody that just sharkbait ooh-ah-ahs my way through like dungeons and things, and then comes back and trudges mud all over the home base. It goes to the first chest available, dumps everything in my inventory that's not mine in the chest, and then kind of goes, I think I sorted stuff. Bye! And then
not to take you too literally on Sharkbait but I would hate to play Raft with you. I would just toss you in for the shark to eat.
That's totally fine. I'll manage to somehow find a shark harness or something.
Dave, anything playing, watching, reading?
Yes, so I definitely haven't disappeared back into Death Stranding at all, and I will not tell you that after playing many more hours off stream of Death Stranding, I am no closer to anything resolving an answer to any of the questions we started with at the start of the game. In fact, I just have more deliveries, more things to do. Haven't found any more pizza deliveries to do, because when we do those I save them for stream, and we put the Krusty Krab pizza delivery song on, and as I'm fighting through the tundras and many enemies and things like that, the Krusty Krab pizza theme is playing over top of it as I do the delivery. It's the best. But we'll, of course, get more into the logistics of Death Stranding later in the program as we do. I've been playing a ton of Overwatch, really enjoying that, and very proud of the play group, because we, this week, crushed it on people. I started the stream on Friday. I played ukulele for 2 hours, and thank you to everyone who came in and started requesting songs and things like that. I was kind of laughing because my mother tuned in and she was like, "Play Hotel California," and I was like, okay, like I can totally do that one, like, and this, that, and the other. So after about 2 hours of doing that, then we jumped into Overwatch, and the play group again. Majority of us are playing on console and we're playing against PC players, and we just ran the table on people for like 3 hours, and it was the most satisfying feeling to just get those wins in after weeks and weeks and weeks of seeing. What we call the French word for victory. For some of you, I know you guys aren't familiar with it, and Boder isn't either, but défaite. The American pronunciation, of course, is defeat, but it's French for victory. Don't worry about it. You're supposed to see that.
Défaillant.
My favorite thing is Nicole will always go, "Oh no, we've lost our feats." And for the first like 2 weeks she said that, I was like, I don't understand. I was like, oh, defeated. Ha ha ha. That should not have taken me that long to learn that one. Just one other thing that we were gaming on, and I do want everyone's input on this one. We've been playing Valheim Monday with Love Alec, and we've gone deep into the Mistlands now. And in the Mistlands, everything can kill you. No matter how much you've been playing on the plains and the other things, you are entirely underleveled for all the things you're facing. So there are these dwarves that are there, and they're very helpful. And the best thing is the Mistlands has this very thick mist that washes over your character, makes it impossible to see where you're going. You can hear these terrifying guttural noises coming from feet away from you, and you know what enemy makes that noise. But then in addition, you'll see these soft blue lights and a little text bubble that goes, "You're taller than I remember," or like a quippy little joke, and these wonderful little dwarves are helping out and things like that. And first I wanted to ask, so those for me are kind of the creature that I've grown to have an affinity for in the video game more so than anything, any other buddy, things like that, in games, in movies, and things like that. But I would love all of your guys's, what buddies they are, and then afterwards I do have some building on that to do. But what in-game buddies? So the dwarves, what they'll do is if they see you're in combat, they immediately run to help. They have really good weapons. They're very adept in strategy, and they'll help you and keep you alive and things like that. So I've grown to appreciate them. And even more sad is when you're running around in the Mistlands and you see just piles of gold on the ground, you know that a dwarf has fallen here. And it's the most, I legitimately on the stream go, I didn't even get to say hi. Like, and I get genuinely upset about it. My one friend's messaging me. She's like, "You have to stop crying. You're an adult." I'm like, "No, I don't want the gold. I want the dwarf." Like, but for you guys, buddies in games or in things like that you've grown an affinity for that aren't necessarily something you're supposed to love that much. What do you got?
Well, you lost me with the not supposed to love them, but I don't know. I have always liked like Dragon Age, where you can work the romance with one of the characters.
Yep.
And you kind of you're a group and you bond and like you want that relationship. You want to end up together at the end of the game. So all the Dragon Ages, that's one of the things I love is just I bond with one character and I want to marry them and I want to go off into the sunset and all that, but that's one that came to my head. But
I love it, and I do know that especially in those particular games, sometimes you build a really strong relationship and bond with the character, and then you go to chapter 2 and the game goes, the chapter where you kill this person because they're a traitorous bastard, and you're like, but no! Like,
no, that's when you stop. Okay, I will say in Medieval Dynasty there was a scene where they ask you to kill this poor old cow. And I'm like, there has to be. I stopped.
Another way.
I stopped the game and I went back and I redid it because I'm like, there has to be another way. I will not kill that poor old cow. And I literally, because it was just horrible. I'm like, and then the cow wakes up and looks at you, and I'm like, no. So yes, there's just second bonding, like this poor old cow. I'm like, no. And yes, I did. The game does allow you to discuss it and find an alternative.
Option. Oh, wonderful.
So, Yeah, I had to just
Stamp
kill a
of
bunch
approval.
of deer or something instead. Yeah, but
Whatever.
not that
It's not the
poor
cow.
old cow.
It's not the cow.
Good.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's move on to the next person.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I'm struggling. I'm just trying to think.
Okay.
I'm like, just drawing.
So you mentioned BioWare romances, and of course my heart always belongs to my one true love, Garrus Vakarian in Mass Effect. But aside from that, one that like didn't have a lot of writing to get you attached to a character that I still like loved, and I'm like, oh hey buddy, you know, my good friend is the guide bot in Descent 2. And I don't know that any of you have ever played the game Descent. It's a 6 Degree of Freedom shooter where it's like you're basically a ship that goes through a 3D mine, collect the blue key, then the yellow key, then the red key. Very Doom in its kind of thing, but it's fully 3D. The original came out in like 93 or 94. Descent 2 came out in 95, and because one of the criticisms was it's hard to find your way around the mines, they added a guide bot that you find it in the mine, you free it, and it finding blue key, finding blue door, finding yellow key, whatever. And it's just this really simple thing, but he, you know, comes back for you all the time, has this little bloop kind of sound. It's just really like, oh, buddy. It is possible to kill the guide bot. I did it once and have not done it since then because I felt bad.
Molik Mortis in chat. Those lights in the mist are called Will-o'-the-Wisps. Thank you, because they are. That is the ones you collect. Griff Kuba, he had a name. I know the dwarves had names, and that's why I love them. More like rigor mortis with in HZD, you can turn machines into friends. You can have a mecha T-Rex buddy.
It's
amazing.
True.
Love it.
Actually, I do like games where, especially if you can do it with a bunch, it just like drops some sort of mass thing, and it's like, the 7 of you are my friend now. Go forth, my army.
Griff Kuba, this is why I don't play The Sims. Not sure I could survive the heartbreak of losing a character. No, you don't lose them. You just make everything into a swimming pool, and you take the ladder away. It's literally that Andy scene. I'm tired of playing with you. And Red Rage Gaming, Dragon Age Inquisition, Dorian and the Bull is the best pairing ever, and you cannot change my mind. I bring this around to the fact that I have a love for the dwarves in Valheim, and I speak very kindly of them. I speak very nicely to them. My playgroup has now started killing them because they occupy pre-built buildings that you cannot build in and on to make bases and forward operations in the
Dave, you need to find new friends.
No, if that's the thing, you're gonna be the evidence that's so. On top of that, we're killing the dwarves, and by that I mean I'm getting sent away to go stand in the mist and go.
We need to torture this guy. Hey, Paladin, go do something over there.
And so what we do is we're not killing all of them, just ones in the forward bases that we absolutely need, or things like that to be able to portal to, and things like that. And we just started doing this past week. Unfortunately, at the same time, we just recently got in Valheim the newest DLC or content, which is magic casting. Previously, you had a couple abilities, but nothing like spellish. Well, now, not only are we killing the dwarves that help us, we're collecting trophies of our enemies and then being able to raise the dead to fight with us. And I won't lie, I'm standing in the Great Hall of my playgroup going, guys, I feel like we're maybe going in the wrong direction with this.
We have skulls on our hat. Are we the baddies?
I truly feel like the fact that everyone except for me gathered around, they're like, look, you can put all these things in this magical cauldron, you put the skulls in, and now you have a skull familiar, and yay, the skull, and we're gonna give him a name, and he's gonna go around and kill things for you. And I literally am standing there in the Great Hall going like, I feel like we may have gone in the wrong direction with this.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, being a father, having young kids or younger kids, 8 and 11, I'm just like, I am constantly. I don't know why I have any affection for, like, even in Minecraft. I'm like, do you need to kill that? Do you need to kill that cow?
Yeah.
Do you need the meat?
Yeah,
then leave it alone.
I spent so much time
I'm trying to
luring
teach her
this
morals.
cow
You know?
into. I made this wolf friendly. I made it happy. It is now domesticated. I keep it at home. It doesn't get into any danger. What did you do to the dog?
I know. I'm like, that's how I'm trying to teach them morality and gameplay. It's just like, don't. No.
I will fish and get leather if I need leather for days.
Have you shown them No Man's Sky by any chance?
No, I've been wanting to.
I will tell you to avoid that up front, because this is a game where you come to a planet, you discover new things, you're immediately supposed to name it, and then all my coworkers were like, and now kill it. I'm like, what? I don't know what this thing is. They're like, no, stomp it to death. And then the game literally goes like, great job, you now know what this is composed of, and this and the other. I'm like, don't stop telling me to go places and eat things. I want to Star Trek this, where I go to a planet and I don't touch anything and I don't anything.
That's where the unobtainium is. Come on.
Oh God.
I have such a hard time being a bad guy in a game. Like when I first got Knights of the Old Republic, which our producer is multitasking with at this moment, I played through Light Side and then I played through Dark Side, and since then I have never played any game Dark Side, Evil, whatever, the douche path. I haven't, just because I'm like, I know that they're programs, they don't have feelings, whatever, but it's like, it makes me feel icky.
Yes.
To be the type of person to do that.
And with kids, I think that's important. You know, I mean, there's enough games where you're just going around killing each other on Roblox and all these other places where it's just like, oh, hey, stab, stab, stab. Hey, let's play a game knife. What? Stab, stab, stab. And it's just like, I'm like, you know what? Just try. You know, like, do you have to kill that guy when he just spawns? You know, give him a chance. You know, let him spawn, then kill him. You know, but I'm like, you know, like you can teach a little morality and try to impart that in them. That, like, you know, you don't be a murder hobo, as role playing characters are often referred to. You know, just you know, try to be better in game and in life. Yes. And that's it. Thank you.
That's if you don't mind me actually using that to segue into one of our news topics. You brought up Murder Hobo, which is a well-known trope of player in D&D. Another well-known one is rules lawyers.
Yes.
And
I know exactly where this is going, and I love it.
And so last week we had Joe and Amy from Geek for All on to talk about Wizards of the Coast's new open game license. That was going to go into effect this past
just a draft.
Friday.
It was just a draft.
They have since said it was just a draft, and we were trying to get feedback
with a contract.
about it.
Contract and legalese that they prefaced and clarified on.
So the new OGL didn't go into effect. Basically, the line was, don't bring regular lawyers to a rules lawyer fight. Because you have a player base who has spent the last 50 years of dissecting documents and figuring out home rules and figuring out how everything works within the confines of the documents, rules as written, and see this piece of paper and they go, okay, buddy. So yeah, it didn't go into it. Wizards of the Coast ended up saying, oh, it was just a draft. Meanwhile, developers are like, you called some pretty big publishing companies into closed-door meetings and had them sign more favorable versions of your draft. That doesn't happen with a draft that you're putting out to get public opinion.
Yeah.
Oh, they got opinion, all right.
Yeah, they really did. And bravo to the internet, by the way, for collectively restating what was said and saying, when you say this, do you mean? And then stating plainly that you're going to take all the third-party content freely from small content creators and use it for yourself as a big business. Does that mean you're going to steal money from this player and that player? And then it's like, well, when you say it that way, it seems evil.
Yeah, and a lot of it was, oh, this was never our intention to do this. We never would have done that. We need to make sure that's clear or whatever. Like, almost all of it is revisionist. That's totally not what we were trying to say. Yep. The one thing that I do like from their statement is that they stated unequivocally, and again, this probably wasn't the plan before, but is the plan now because their hand has been forced. The updated version that we do put out for people to see as a better or whatever will not contain any royalty structure. It will also not include the license back provision that some people were afraid was a means for us to steal work. And so everything else about the letter I read, and I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. But at least that is, for as much as a promise from Wizards of the Coast means anything, that is a promise not to say, well, if you make X amount of money, we take Y%. not to, you know,
because we're right there. We're all right there. We're really worried about our fat stacks of money. Right?
Exactly.
We're all right there. We're like, I don't know.
So some of the issues that we brought up. So this is very firmly kind of a win there. But before they said that, oh well, this isn't going to happen. Paizo Publishing, and I may have mispronounced that. I realize I've only ever read that name. I think it's either Paizo or announced that they were going to be working with other publishers that had already signed on to create the Open RPG Creatives license, ORC license, ORC, that is going to be built from the ground up as system agnostic. And even when Wizards came out and said that, oh, well, the OGL, you know, whatever, we're going to work on a better version of that that's more agreeable to the community, they're like, no, we're still going to work on ORC. This is still going to be something that obviously the community wants, needs, and has an appreciation for. So that's another development that I'm really excited to see.
Absolutely. It's but I mean, I would just like to say, for the record, and I will look right at the people, you know, there are literally thousands of other role-playing games than Dungeons and Dragons. I'm not sure if people are aware of this, but there are literally thousands of role-playing games covering everything from obscure historical moments in time to
these are the people who ask
fantasy.
about it.
Yeah, I
I
wrote one book for Call of Cthulhu. They have a program where you can do stuff through drive-through RPG. It's Old West. I did cattle drives in an Old West Cthulhu game. I'm like, if you want to make one, make characters.
That's
all
cool.
That stuff like that. I've sold 32 copies.
Ooh, nice. Hell yeah.
My big $300 I've made off of that. But still, I'm like, there's outlets for creative people out there. You just got to look.
Yeah.
Just don't. I know, you know, it's kind of like SOS pads or Kleenex. It's synonymous with their products. D&D is kind of what you think of when you say role-playing is like synonymous for... But there's literally hundreds and thousands of independent creators out there.
And a lot of systems that are really happy and open to others creating stuff for it. I was in a group that was playing Blades in the Dark, and I know that our game master ended up pulling in a lot of content from other people when it came to, we want to leave Duskfall. So,
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a lot of companies already have stuff. Free League, who does, you know, a lot of, you know, games like Mutant Year Zero, and they do the One Ring now. They have a thing, same kind of deal where you can write and publish the PDFs on drive-through, and then if you sell so many through drive-through, it becomes open up to you can get a hard copy of the book. So
I'm
a long ways away from that, but you know what?
You're still on the road to. It's in the distance.
In about a week and a half, I'm going to be having I'm out of a job sale, so it's going to be 40% off my book. And we'll try to get some sales. And I'm like almost done with my second my adventure to go along with it, and halfway through a third book. So I'm working. If this stupid Star Wars saga didn't come into my way, I'd be further along, but no.
Yeah, it's nice because the last book I read was his book, and I had to read it like 2 or 3 times. So I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying if you like proofreading and reading a role-playing book is a lot different than reading a
You're talking about books I've read. I'm like, the only books I've read are role-playing books. I'm like, I've read like the whole Mutant Year Zero collection. Like, that's what I read at night. I'm like reading role books.
Like how many times I had to read this before I was comfortable saying submit for print.
Yeah.
And then notice something and I had to submit it again for an update. But like for an RPG book, not only do you have to make sure, I'm sure that like not all the prose and everything is punctuated correctly, but like that those systems still make sense. That a variation here in common language didn't totally throw off a game system, I assume. Right. Yeah, there's a lot of, I can imagine there's a lot of thought going into proofing something like that.
Oh, yeah, well, and that's the thing. It was Old West, so he was trying to use the lingo, and that was, and it was also funny because it's called Get Along Little Doggies, and we're all like, 2 G's or 1 G?
One, right?
Right. Well,
Yeah.
it
And
is.
we're like, is it a type?
But yeah, that's
Damn, boner! Because in my head, I was like, Doggies. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, and-
Because doggy was slang for a cow,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yep. And he's working on something else, and I was giving him a hard time because it has the word color, and he went with the British spelling, and I'm like, COLOUR. Really? Are we British now? Well,
But then did you
The
consistently
monster is a
use...
color out of space from H.P. Lovecraft's book, and he spelled it
Okay,
COLOUR. So
Yeah.
I was staying faithful to the original work.
yeah.
Okay.
So and
So-
that he explained it.
Yeah,
so I
but
was-
that-
I was
that is-
fine.
that
the
is
book.
questions
Is it
that-
color or color?
Well, it's still
With
pronounced
the
color, yeah.
color.
Okay.
But yeah, so and that is something that, like, that's conversations that editors have with writers all the time of,
Yeah.
like, can you defend this usage of it? Yes, I can. Here's this. All right, great. Let's move on. Yeah.
Yeah, my poor
Yeah.
wife. My poor wife. She role plays with us, but she's never read a role playing book in her life, and if it wasn't mine, I couldn't pay her to read a role playing book. She was so confused because she could not she did not understand the format of it because it's a sandbox. So you have these like 5 or 6 events. Well, you meet this person. You could meet this person here, so you have to reference him here, but you mainly meet him here. So that's where I put all the vital information about this character. And she's
Yeah.
like, why are you mentioning this person here? I don't know who he is or why. I'm like, that's just the way it is, dear. He'll show up later. You just
Yeah, we both gave him a hard
So now
time.
here's
We
this film.
we did have a lot of questions.
You
and
have to.
like,
You have to.
Yeah, like, why did you put this? Yeah, we both
Yeah.
did the why did you put this here conversation a couple times, but
Right.
yeah.
But yes,
So
that's the advantage of being an artist and a design, and being able to do graphic design and stuff like that. Is I was able to do my own work.
Because it's mine and I want it that way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Looping back really quick, Red Mage Gaming saying, I'm of the opinion that Wizards gets no more of my money until they commit to a more ironclad OGL, or just committing to the ORC for their SRDs from here on out. More like Rigor Mortis pointing out that John Harper, who wrote Blades in the Dark, hosts variations of the game on his own Blades in the Dark website. So, like, just fan content, whatever, is hosted on the official site, which is really cool. So that's, I don't know if anybody else had anything on the OGL there, but
Just that, boy, how fandoms get mad, stay mad, and then continue to riot straight through the castle. Because I don't know if any of you guys caught on to the fact that fan favorites and of course their names flew straight out of my head because they need the nerd glasses bump for them to mention them. But Matt Mercer's play group, Critical Role, did in fact come under fire by some of the angry internet people that were still raging about all these things going on. And they went, you weren't very supportive of us during this whole thing. And then Matt Mercer literally went, actually, if you remember, I am under contract and have a lot of things. So the Critical Role stuff officially can't like these things. He goes, but if you look at my personal Twitter likes and shares and things, he goes, I think I'll just leave it at that. And if you did a little bit of Diggerooski, like I did, firstly, Matt Mercer is hilarious in what he retweets. But secondly, I appreciate the fact that he still retweets High Noon jokes. If you have any Cassidy memes, he loves them. But he was also retweeting things that said things like, there's a lot of tabletop role-playing games out there. And it's like, a guy who runs a whole network of programming off of one game literally went, by the way, you can take your D20 and roll it somewhere else and nobody's going to know the difference at the end of the day.
Because really, does it matter what die you're rolling? And I'm like, it's the story that people want.
Before we move on from this one, in 3 sentences or less, pitch a tabletop role-playing game that you enjoyed that you want more people to play. 5 sentences. 5 sentences.
I love Free League. It's a Swedish company, but they're getting some big IPs now. They just did Blade Runner and Alien and
Nice!
And The One Ring, Lord of the Rings, and it's a light system, so it's not overly crunchy. Oh, Twilight 2000, I just started. They brought back that old classic, and yeah, it's a great company. But you know, I will also say Chaosium, who does RuneQuest and Call of Cthulhu and D100 and one of my second game I played after Dungeons and Dragons as a kid, and it's still got all my love. So,
Awesome.
So check those two out. You will not be disappointed. You will not go back to.
Well, I am part of one of John's gaming groups, and I will say he does have ADD or RPG ADD. That is a term I came up with. But of the many, I mean, he's been pretty good. Once you call him out on something, he tries to prove you wrong. So we've been we're currently. We're currently playing, was it Mutant?
Year Zero
Elysium. But I will say, I think Call of Cthulhu was probably we did
Horror on the Orient Express.
Horror on the Orient Express.
Nice.
And even though it took 2.5 years, I enjoyed the Lovecraftian, I like the Lovecraftian, 1920s vibe in role playing. I mean, the Elysium that we're playing right now it's not bad. I enjoy it, but
we've only played like 3 sessions, and it's like,
and I'm always the freaking traitor. I'm like, they always call me there's a whole. I don't want to go into the whole thing.
No.
But you're part of different houses, and you like sabotage this.
Yeah.
You're underground. You're sabotaging parts. And each week you vote, you secretly put which place you're sabotaging, and you can only, the group can only resolve one. Where they actually, you put all your effort into it. The other ones, you just roll some dice. Oh, it failed, it passed, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
This one, every time I was the traitor, they picked mine, and it was just like... And I so suck at sabotaging.
Basically, just 2 seconds or less. The premise is it's basically your Judge Dredd in the last city on Earth, which is just basically a giant thing that runs down.
How do I give my money to that?
It just and basically. The place is run by. It's kind of a little Snowpiercer, you know. You got the down at the bottom is all the workers and the industry and the crappy people, and all the rich people live closer to the surface. But and each, it's run by 4 houses, and each house assigns a judge to a patrol, and then you have like a secret, you decide which incident you're going to . It's kind of like we got these 4, we got a murder over here, we got riots breaking out on here, we got stuff like that, and everyone's, secretly picks which one they want. And one person's actually a betrayer. It's a game with the betrayal thing there. You're trying to sabotage the investigation subtly, because if you get caught, it's like, it hurts your house. And it's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of stuff to it, but we're just starting.
I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
Yeah, she just got.
I'm a big with board games and such. I like the social deduction games.
Nice.
I'm not great at them, but I love them.
Yeah.
You folks at home voted, and it is time for us to give out them sweet, sweet channel points, and for the snack of the program that we will do on top of doing other things. No food allergies? No major food allergies? Good. These are also not something that's very allergenic. But Steve, what got most of the points this week?
It's me, Fruit Snackio, with a whopping 63,006.
Oh my God.
63.6 thousand channel points.
It's me, Fruit Snackio. While Dave brings that over, I will say really quick, I played a game a couple of times called Fiasco. That is a collaborative one. Yep. There's no DM. It's everybody working together on something, and there's many different modules for it. There is a video of me playing with a bunch of friends using a Star Wars style module, and it was just pirates boarding a cruise liner. I remember very little about it at this point, although I could go back and watch it again. The nice thing about one-offs like that, in that I remember at one point,
Did you care for
somebody,
It's a me Fruit Snackio.
somebody reprogrammed the ship computer and had it speaking a different language, And everyone decided
nice
the language that you programmed it to is Ewokese. So they tried to broadcast that they were that the pirates were taking over the ship, and it came out of the speakers as "Yub yub yar."
Steve, since
Fiasco.
you said that you would visit your grandparents and you would only be allowed to have 3 of them, you can have the rest of the box because you're an adult now and you can responsibly eat a box of fruit snacks. You could, yet you come here every week and you do an excellent job helping us produce and create content, and I appreciate it. So these, unfortunately, I tried to find ones that were made by our wonderful friends who made Kraft macaroni and cheese
That's gross.
gummies.
That was gross.
And things.
These are
they
fine.
were awful. These are just Mario shaped and fun. So for those of you that voted thinking they would be something awful, womp womp, you've just fed us a pleasant snackaroo.
I mean, I wouldn't go far as to say pleasant. They're fine. They're gummies.
Yeah, I mean, they remind me of just regular. I mean, I've only tried the purple one, but
As fruit snacks go, they're disappointing. They don't have a whole lot of like fruit taste to them.
Yeah, I was just gonna say they're a little muted. Let me tell you, I have kids. I've eaten a lot of fruit
Oh, I
snacks.
bet.
And yeah, no, these are kind of, I have to say, a
It's
little
though.
bland. And I'm not feeling one up when I eat this mushroom.
Yeah.
I feel like I should
It'll
be
kick in
one
in
up.
like it'll kick in 6 minutes. Don't worry.
Hey, what kind of gummies are these?
Wow.
They are available at Target. Just as a heads up for those of you watching at home.
What are the purple ones? Are those the
Those are the fire
flowers?
flowers.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, they look a little weird, but
Not
So-
tasting the fire.
Normally this show goes for an hour, which means we would be ending right now. But obviously, you fine folks are here. I don't want to rush you, but by all means, tell us about ADK Tabletop Day 2023. Don't feel rushed with that. If we gotta, don't worry about that.
We'll just next time we come, we'll just finish off where we left off.
Oh yeah.
And please come back. You guys are always
absolutely.
welcome to join us on
Absolutely.
future
and thank
content.
you for having us.
Oh,
Yeah, we appreciate
no,
it.
no, this has been amazing. We're always very appreciative that folks come and share your time and your stories and your gaming, this or that or other with us. But we would love to hear about the festival. It is right now lower left in Nerd Vision is the picture online. We will of course be. Would love to have some flyers and things in the future to have here in the store
absolutely.
and things like that. But what is it? How can people get involved? What do you do?
I'll
fire it
take
up.
the lead.
I could go off, but I'll let you.
So, as you mentioned earlier in the show, we have Adirondacon is our main entity, I guess. We started it in 2016. We have a gaming group called Adirondack Tabletop Gamers and Game Developers. We mostly a Facebook group. We get together it's been every other Saturday with like bonus Saturdays most Saturdays. The Dominoes in Hudson Falls knows,
Nice.
We'll see you on Saturday. But it just started out as a gaming group on Meetup, and I was kind of looking for people to play with, and because there was in the group, in the area, there was just somebody in Saratoga hosted his house, and John had actually just created a card game, and we were trying to demo it locally.
Yeah, the true origin stories. Let's go to the origin story.
There we go.
Basically,
Bitten by radioactive spider.
I was playing
Parents
games,
died.
playing games, and I decided, hey, I can make my own board game or slash card game. So I made my card game. We started going to different conventions, local conventions, because I can't afford to go to the big ones.
Thank you, Griff Cooper, for dropping in the Facebook group link into the chat there.
And so we got to see what conventions were all about. I'd never been to a convention before, and as I'm demoing this game and getting feedback, kind of finalizing it so I could actually get it out. We met all the people who were running the events and other vendors and all this stuff, and we're just we started the game group back home, and we're like, you know what? I don't want to drive. or pay to go to a convention anymore. Why don't we just run our own convention?
I don't want to pay to go to a convention.
Yeah, little did we
It'll
know.
surely be cheaper to run one, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wow, now you know how stupid it sounds. When I hear it out loud, it sounded great in my head.
Well, when you say it, it sounds goofy.
Well, yeah, no, literally, and so I did not realizing how much debt I would throw myself into. But anyways, but yeah, that's kind of where it started. We
Yes.
kind of rolled this,
Yep.
game group into, and we're like, hey, let's bring it to everybody because conventions are awesome. As I talk with why did I stick a gummy in my mouth? I don't know.
It is customary nerd glasses to talk with your mouth full of a snack.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, so that's basically the origin story. So we put it together in the where was it? The first
Elks
one,
Lodge?
the Elks
Yep,
Lodge. Just one room at the Elks Lodge.
Very nice.
And we started small, and then we tried the Aviation Mall one year. We wanted the
Yep.
stores because there's like 3 stores left in one.
They got space.
and I think that Chinese restaurant's still there. like
They are, and I will say I worked for a business when that Chinese Wall first food store place came in, and I was working for a video game store on the corner there, and I felt so bad because I definitely told them some things that turned out to be very bad lies.
But oh my goodness, yeah, the tenacity of that one restaurant in the entire mall. They are the food court.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, so that's where it started. So we
Yeah.
decided let's get the community together to play some board games and role playing games and
And
things of that nature.
So,
and
and we enjoyed it so much, and we decided to throw a spring event too. So that's where ADK Tabletop Day came from. So we try to do it every spring.
Mm-hmm.
We did miss a year thanks to the pandemic, but this year it's April 1st, and we've moved on up to the Charles R. Wood Theater in downtown Glens
Can I just
Falls.
say I try to do a stupid pun every spring show, and
Yes.
I did spring is in the hair, and I had this nice beautiful picture of a rabbit's X-ray, but I put a spring inside of it.
Yes.
Like you could see
Okay,
a
yep.
spring in the thing.
Yep, I appreciate
loved
that.
it, and then that got canceled. I'm like, ooh,
Oh.
and then I still have all these
That's-
dice.
Well, you also had to do a alternate poster because the theater was like,
That's a little dark.
dark, yes.
Okay, it's also fair.
That's because they don't get the pun. That's really what that is. That's someone looking on their phone going, "What is that even?"
But
So-
it was very nice design.
So for people that say were at Adirondacon this past fall, what can they expect from ADK Tabletop Day? What's similar? What's different?
We use our format is we have a library of probably 500 titles or more. Basically,
Nice.
we have 2 very large rooms where we set up tables, and we're going to be we're incorporating the basement in this year as well. Basically, a bunch of tables. We have GMs sign up to teach games. We usually have someone near the lending library if you have questions or need help setting up a game. So basically, it's just a bunch of people gathering together, playing board games, role-playing games. I think we're going to have some Warhammer demos just for those who want to that we did have we had some Warhammer demos. We were going to try a tournament, but we just didn't.
Yeah.
There was a glitch in the system. It just didn't work out. But I believe 2 Ravens in Rutland. As long as they were able to, they were going to bring Warhammer and teach it this year.
Nice.
So I'm also trying to find people who want to teach. It's about teaching and learning and just getting together and playing board games and role playing games. The Pathfinder Society has always been great, and they've already let us know they're coming this year. We have we're modern games. People aren't running Life and Monopoly.
But you could definitely, if you wanted to play. But
we do. I do believe we might have them in the library for those that want to.
I mean, they're themed, like Star Wars Monopoly. Or,
Obviously, yeah.
But,
And like if you I imagine there's like the classics of like Catan and Ticket to Ride, but then people that maybe got into those and then realized, oh, there's so many more cool new tabletop like board games, RPGs or whatever out there that it can be hard to find if you only know to look at Target, for instance.
And
Well, I was
yeah.
going to say that's a
Even then, Target has a
that's the thing.
decent
If you're looking through Target and you see all these cool looking games, and you're like, man, I wonder what that's about.
That's true.
There's-
Yeah.
there-
But,
like,
but I
wonder what-
can't afford the risk on these $80 price
Yeah.
tag
Exactly.
for
Yeah.
the for the.
but that is the beautiful thing about Adirondacon. Usually, people will sign up to run a game, and what they'll do is they'll say, "I'm gonna," and we're looking for any GMs.
Yes, tabletop.events. We just opened GM signups. We have a few that have already been submitted, and I'll jump in and just you were talking modern games. Somebody from our group is bringing is going to be teaching Clank Catacombs that I just got a chance to play the other night. It's it's a deck builder, and it's got like you're building the dungeon as you go along.
Okay.
So that's it's a fairly new title that one of the few that I know like going ahead that somebody is most likely teaching.
Yeah,
But,
and that's the way it works. Is there's like, I mean, looking at it both ways. If you're a GM, like first of all, if you run like 2 games, you get them free, so
Yes.
no cost. But say there's a game sitting on your shelf collecting dust, you're like, I love that game, but I never get 3 or 4 people over
Kill
to
Dr.
play it.
Lucky.
Then you sign up to run that game, and you open up. I have this many slots available, and of course, save one for yourself.
Yeah.
And then basically what you do is you're teaching the game. So on that side, you're getting to play a game that you love and introduce it to new people. On the flip side, if you've gone to Target and said, "Man, that game looks interesting. I wonder. I don't want to spend $60 unless I know it's actually good." You look on the schedule, someone may be running that game. You go, not only do you get to play it, but someone teaches you
Yes.
how to play it. You don't have to
Yeah.
spend hours going through
Yeah,
that
you get
30-page.
both the social and the physical example as opposed to the home like trying to learn through osmosis.
Which you can do, but takes
Yes.
so much longer. And it's always great. Like I mentioned, Fiasco as a tabletop game I like playing.
Yep.
I would have a hard time just trying to play that out of the its manual or whatever.
Yes, yep.
Having a friend that knows how to play it and guiding us through it is invaluable. And so same thing. When I got a copy of Race for the Galaxy at Otakon, and then we go back to our hotel room and a friend teaches us how to play the game. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I had around the con. It's that friend teaching you how to play a game, and you get to try it out.
And that is
see
how I've purchased so many board games. People bring them to game night, or I go to Adirondacon and try them or see them.
Yep.
But and for me, like, there's a as I mentioned, I like social deduction games. I usually throw one at the end of the night because I'm usually running around crazy, and it quiets down around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I usually throw like Secret Hitler or something out there. That's my
Yeah.
I try not to there a couple cons ago. I ended up running like 3 or 4 games myself, and I'm like, I just want to be at the lending library. I want to be helping people, doing what I need to do.
Yeah.
But at the end of the night, I usually throw in my one social deduction game that I can't get to the table, and that's usually Secret Hitler for me, or Murder in Hong Kong, Deception, Murder in Hong Kong.
And the same thing, I mean, that's board games, but we also have role-playing games. We try to get some people to run different type, not just usually 2 or 3 D&Ds. Pathfinder's usually there, and usually
Call of Cthulhu. We had a couple Call of Cthulhu's last time.
Yeah, so we try to. So again, there you can try a new game. They teach, the people will teach you the system. They'll have pre-generated characters for you to play, or I'm sure if you brought your own, they would be like,
Oh
sure,
yeah,
throw it
and
in.
that we did it. We welcome people to bring their own games. We welcome you to if you want more of a board game cafe experience. We welcome you to just grab it. We have open tables. You grab a game from the shelf. If you want somebody to chime in and be like, "Oh, do you need a little help?" We have volunteers.
Yes, I do need help.
Yeah, and
I
if
take it at all
people-
times.
We do have people that they just come and that's what they do. They just grab games from the library. They do their own thing. They have their table, and then we have GMs that just this is my table. Here's what I will be running, and
a lot of different ways to play.
Too.
And
Yep, and that's the thing. We're trying to offer a variety. We don't have any collectible card games like Magic or Pokemon, but we're hoping to try to get some.
We were trying to. It's once again we're going to try to talk to game stores and even GM, if there's a GM that wants to do this, one of the ideas we had was, we noticed like with Warhammer, a lot of people were interested in it. But you say tournament and they're like, ooh, like
you're committing a day and a half, 2 days to
something that you don't know how to play yet.
Exactly. And I was thinking with having demos of Warhammer, maybe having a couple hours where people can, you know, everybody talks about Magic the Gathering. It's such a big thing, but for somebody who wants to learn it, I mean, if you have a friend, that's great. But, you know, advice on how to build a good deck, how to play. Like, we always have people ask about Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And things like that. So if we can find some people to, like, to sign up and just teach these and, like, hey, strategies for, you know, a good deck, how to build your deck.
Yeah.
We're gonna, we try to add things every year.
We're trying, and that's the thing. We don't, I mean, I've tried to play Pokemon with my kids because they were interested in the, but, you know, and I'm like, I've played Magic once or twice, but I still, you know, we don't know these things, you know. We have our
and that's the thing, by bringing in volunteers, you're bringing in people who maybe do know it more. Like, it doesn't fall just on you guys in running that, and it's really cool to be able to bring in people to do that.
So April 1st, I could take a game that I love but don't have a player base for, or I can find myself at the Charles R. Wood Theater and bring a board game with me, maybe not wind up playing it, and things like that. What's cost of entry? How do we work that?
I was gonna say, do you have?
I want to say it was 20.
I can't remember.
15.
Listen, I'm nearly brain dead. So.
15 general admission, 12 for students and veterans. Children under 12 are free. Just please, Monopoly pieces knows it's not a good time.
Nope.
Let's put the caveat: parents should be. We're not a daycare service.
Free entry with supervision.
You have no idea how many people just leave kids in the store and they come back. They're like, have you seen my son? And we're literally like, what? Like Steve's responsible for me. I'm not responsible for your people. Like,
I mean, 12 and under, free entry with continuous supervision. That requires you to be there with them.
And I mean, we do. And it's one of those things. Children vary in their skill levels. Like, I played and taught, I'm gonna guess he was 10, but man, he did, like, I think we played I think Mariposas and Isle of Cats, and he was so good. Like, I was fine, like, when his when the parental figure said, is it okay if I go play this other game and he plays with you? And I was like, because I'd played a previous game, I was like, I will allow it. You know, like, but yeah, some of these kids, 8, 10-year-olds,
I want to do that with my son.
Yeah, no.
No.
I got hit by a flying burrito at Adirondacon from his son. Like, I'm just sitting there at the lending library, and there's a burrito flying by my head.
It's from the game Throw burrito.
Yes.
It wasn't a real.
I was gonna say that's either one of two stories: either someone smuggled in Moe's and Chipotle and was really going to town on a game,
I should have clarified that. Yeah.
No, it's a way better story that way.
Thank you for letting me have the image of just like fully cooked burrito before
Wyatt
you corrected
is wild. He just goes to Taco Bell and
and we also try to have some special events. I run a pitch car tournament, which is a flicking game with like a race car track that you know, you can set it up with jumps, and I have a loop-de-loop that is nearly impossible to get it like to go. I can do it because I've practiced a lot. You break your thumb on it, or you break your finger on it like every time. But I also do on the fall show. I do the Dexterity Olympics, where I have like I finally figured out the format I like, which is just I have like just portions of like 4 or 5 different games. Like, one was Pong, but then I had an operation thing, and you had to pull out like 3 pieces, without buzzing, or carefully and like that, and you got timed, so everyone just waited, and it was like start the clock, and they had to go through, and the Meeple Circus, they had to stack up meeples on top of each other to get to a certain height, and it was just like as they're running around, they timed, and we crowned. I had the gold, the gold, bronze, and silver medals. A ton of fun, good for all ages. But yeah, we try to do some special events. We're hoping to do more in the future, but you know, like I said, we're learning, we're adding, we're doing what we can, and
Absolutely.
just trying to spend a nice day. I mean, we love video games, and but it's nice to just get and have that face-to-face human interaction over a board game, and don't play with my son because Stratego was a mess. He smashed the board and was not. I'm trying to teach him good sportsmanship, and it's going slow.
So raging
going about as well
in
as
games,
morality in video
unless
games.
it's part of the game, is not necessarily a skill that is wanted.
He's only 8, but I'm trying not to get too cutthroat with Battleship. When I called the final one. And I looked at my board, and there's not a single. I hadn't found his carrier yet, and there was not a single 5 space open on the entire board. And I'm like, I think someone did not
follow through.
Did not
on
call
the
a hit
rules.
when it should have been a hit. And when he went over where ships were, I'm like, yep, there was 2 of them that were hits that should have been not missed. But anyways, hopefully it's too late. He should be in bed right now, but he's not watching. So
awesome.
Veronica, you're looking for sponsors as well.
Oh yes, yeah, yes.
Thanks,
that's the thing. We are gamers. We're gamers who decided to run a convention.
Mm-hmm.
We are not. We have a small company called First All Productions. Like the jewelry line for gamer gifts is our big income. We just do this for fun. We don't. What were we saying yesterday? We're unwillingly not for profit. Yeah. So I mean, we are looking for sponsors. If you're interested in being one of our sponsors, I do have I can send you information. It's info@adirondacon.com is our email address.
Yeah, we usually our big sponsors are usually Cooper's Cave Games and 2 Ravens out of Rutland.
Yeah.
We're
good friends with Cooper's Cave.
Yeah.
We all do the
I'll do
convention circuit together.
Yep.
I don't know if I'm on camera, but
It may be
there's the big T-shirt.
Very
reveal
nice.
with our sponsors, but
level
5 and level 4 sponsors get the T-shirt if they get in on time.
And ads in the con book too. We have a little con book we had out. So we're always looking for help. Financially, because it's not going in our pockets. It's just paying back the credit card that I stick all this stuff on.
Yes, and it rolls over to the next. If we do make a profit, and
it's just going to go
rolls over to the next con.
Yeah.
So goes to the soda fund, I guess.
We did want to do a gift because Boder and I are both streamers that were sponsored are still sponsored by Guildhouse Games, a small company that created a card game called Varia, and we wanted to give you guys for your haul of games.
Oh, awesome.
It is 1v1 and things, and the way you start the game, and you fight through the card and game and things like that. We wanted to give you guys your own starter kit to be able to play and things like that, and we will contact Guildhouse to let them know that their game is now at Adirondacon, because I know they are really enthusiastic about getting it out there. They're very good about talking about things like that, and I know they do. Even though we are a predominantly video game store, we are still on their website as an official vendor of their goods. So I did want to give you guys the Volcanic Warrior and Divine Paladin for you guys to be able to try out. If you like the game, let people try it out, play, and do these things. It's a fun game that we're all playing on. We'll contact you if we are doing a Varia night and things like that for you guys to come and join us and join in the fun of that game, because it is a lot of fun.
Awesome. And a really cool community. If you catch their Discord, they're really active. The devs are active. It's a really fun time. Each deck is an individual class of character meant to be played on its own, but can also be mixed and matched according to rules that are in the documents. And it's just really easy to just pick up and play, but is also customizable if that's your shtick as well. So.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, no, I will bring it to some game nights, and I will we'll add it to the Adirondacon library.
And Guildhouse Games does have on their website a how to play step by step and things like that, explaining the mechanics and the rules. They also do are very receptive to if you message them and have questions about the game at many hours of the night, because I know for a fact I have messaged Ant on Discord and been like, so am I allowed to trigger this after this? And I'll get a response of, no, Dave, that is not how that works. The text of the card says specifically not. And I'm like, thank you, Ant. They are wonderful folks, and we want to spread the good of Varia. It's a board game a tabletop game that both Border and I fell deeply in love with. And yes, we will be teaching people how to play Varia soon. It will be an off-stream thing, and then we will do another Varia night on stream where we all gather and everyone is all shined up and rule familiar, and we'll have games that'll roll out left, right, instead of the first couple times I played where I was going, and I play this card?
Dave, even when you know how to play, a game can still last an hour and a half.
Oh, yes. Especially if you vamp when you play in between cards and things like that.
Anyway, thank you so much, so much for joining us. I'm really looking forward to ADK Tabletop Day. I am probably gonna submit some proposals for GMing.
Awesome.
April 1st at the Charles R. Wood Theater here in scenic Glens Falls, New York. You literally can't miss it. It's the only landmark in the area. It's $15 general admission at the door, and the hours posted are 9:30 a.m. scheduled gaming from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. So if your Commander game goes after 10, they are going to throw the car. No, I'm kidding.
If you're there after 10, you have to help load the vehicle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Break down.
Yes!
And,
What are you guys still playing here? Well, we're still on turn 3 of, well, if you can put this box in the...
What do you guys... Well, that was your fault for bringing Twilight Imperium. I don't know what you expected.
But yeah, we have had a few go over.
Okay.
We were working around them. We let them finish. They had like one more round. We're like,
Yeah.
okay,
right.
it's fine.
Okay, now we're going to do a
We don't
dexterity
encourage
game
it.
where we're going to try to stack as many games into this bag and put it in that truck as fast as we can.
Can I get the tablecloth out without disturbing your game?
You definitely need to get Steve on that, because pack up for insane games at cons Steve is very good at that. Speaking
Most
of which,
elaborate April Fool's Day prank. Get a bunch of nerds to show up for an event that's not even there.
it's
It's there.
Well, our
So
April
we've been
Fool's
told.
joke is because
The spraying in the hair.
well, no, because we always choose a animal or creature from the Adirondacks. We chose Sasquatch as our animal.
The truth is out there.
Yeah.
So yes,
So,
I
yes.
got the bad pun was the spring fling. He's in a catapult aimed at the Charles Wood Theater on the poster.
Yes.
So giving the thumbs up. So
Yeah.
and I do want to mention real quick. I know we're wrapping things up, but we usually have another feature of Adirondacon is we have a big auction of games. Some companies donate stuff.
Raffle.
Raffle, sorry. Auction, I say sorry. Raffle. The proceeds, we were going through...
Our North Shore Animal League.
Yes.
Yeah,
we were.
yes.
Yeah, we switched from. We were doing. What is it? I can't think
So
of
it's
it.
going through North Shore Animal League.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what it's
Yes.
through now. So that's
Yes,
the big one.
Yeah. We
Oh,
haven't
my
talked
God,
to them, but we took canned donations and food donations for the
Very nice.
I don't know if they're going to be here in person. We haven't contacted them. That's why I was a little hesitant to throw out there. But we usually have a charity raffle.
we always raise money for charity.
We're going for the kitties. Last one. We
Children's
went for the
Miracle
kitties.
Network Hospital,
Yes,
Albany. I just can't think. I've been a team captain for like 5 years, and I'm
Extra
like
Life.
Life. Thank you. I'm like I haven't signed up this year yet, so I feel bad.
Okay.
But we do still do Extra Life, but we're not. We've gone to the kiddies, so Extra
Nice.
Life. There's a nice
Forget
Extra
the
Life
kids.
was
We're going
passed.
with cats. Sorry.
But yeah, there's a nice local shelter, and they were kind enough to bring kittens with them to the fall show. And
Excellent.
crossing fingers, they might have a few adoptees coming in the spring,
Again,
but we have to
them
talk
yet,
to them.
so we
we have
could
to
be
line them
lying
up.
to you.
Yeah.
And that'll be our April Fools. No kittens.
I'll just bring one of my cats. It's fine.
we got the reptile people.
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
no,
yeah,
just
we were
a win
we were
for me.
talking about that, but
Anyway, sorry.
Amazing. No. We love
And
it.
yes, and just I'm just gonna mention September 30th and October 1st are the fall shows. Dates.
Awesome.
Yeah, we have the dates. We just haven't started the
And maybe we'll have you on again as that date gets closer. So
Oh,
We would
great.
love to. I will sit and talk for multiple hours here because
I got that
I
impression.
love to chat. I'm a chatter.
Yeah, we're chatters. Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Folks, make sure to keep it tuned right here live to Insane Games TV because next we are going to return to the shack where Steve is digging down in the loins and he's going to try to finish Car Quest this week. But
I heard
who
that last
knows?
week and the week before too.
Yes, I know. And that game continues to just be there.
There's a lot of news topics we didn't get to, and that's okay. Make sure that you're in our Discord down below and check out the tabled topics section on Discord, where, among other things, there will be stuff about the class action lawsuit filed against Stability AI, DeviantArt, and Midjourney over artificial intelligent created art, including a really good own of the Midjourney CEO, but I'll save that for table topics on Discord. Make sure you check that out. In the meantime, guys, we hope to catch you next week right here, Tuesday at 7:45 p.m. for the Nerd Glasses Podcast and Insane Games TV. Until then, I've been Boater.
I've been Dave Mann.
I've been John.
I've been Veronica, also known as Victoria.
And we'll see you next time.